Welcome agents to another video where we're going to have a look at the Winter Solstice event medal, which as you can see is currently not in my profile. So that's going to be what we're going to have a look at today. To start off with, we're going to have a look at how you achieve the first level of this medal in this video. So you're going to need to recharge 75,000 XM, you're going to need to drone hack 15 portals, hack 25 portals, you're going to need to deploy 100 resonators, and finally you're going to need to capture 20 portals. So the first thing that you can see then on my profile is that I've gone ahead and I've done a lot of the drone hacking already. As a matter of fact, I've got 2 drone hacks ready to go just after I capture these first few portals. When I've got a little bit of downtime, I'll finish those off. And the reason I've done that, and I've done that ahead of time, is so that I can put all of it into this video and you can see everything being completed in real time. So I think this is interesting in that the drone hack gives it a little bit of a different element to other quest lines that Niantic have implemented before, because in effect, some of these quest lines are time locked. So as I said in advance, I actually did all my drone hacking because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it during the course of my gameplay whilst I was out today. And that is not just the first round of this medal, but it's also the 3rd round too, which means that you can progress all the way to the 3rd round of this medal, the 3rd set of challenges, but then after that you're going to have to wait a long while to actually get through the 25 drone hacks that time, so that you can actually progress to the final round of the medal. And I think I am a kind of fan of this system. It means that you can't just race through and finish everything immediately and there you go, you've got your medal. It means you have to savor the game and your gameplay a little bit more than perhaps you would if you were just racing through and getting the final medal on the first go because you want to be the first person to have it. But then I guess it also means that for today, I can only get the first level of this medal and I can't get through all 4 quest lines in order to get the final medal. But I'm okay with that. It means that I can have fun with that tomorrow once I've done all the drone hacks for level 3 so I can get on to and progress to level 4. And there you can see there's also the Plus Alpha Global up going on at the moment, which I'll also do a little bit on this one. I'm not as keen on that medal because it's already been, and I wish they'd just leave that one be. The idea of bringing it back and having wings on for those people that have already achieved it, but at a monetary cost, is not something that I'm a big fan of. Obviously, I know at the moment, especially with the survey that's just come out and a couple of the other medals that have come out where you've got a quest line to complete and you get a new medal, that obviously Niantic are playing around with a few monetization things to make sure that the game is making money. That's another experiment that they're doing at the moment. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not a good thing, but I just think if you're gonna monetize medals, make them new. And don't bring back old ones because it kind of devalues it for the people that got it the first time round. But I might be alone in that thinking. What do you think? You can leave me a message in the comments, I'll respond. And yeah, tell me your views, that'd be great. So as for today then, you can see that I've come to an area that is largely quite red. And the reason for that is because you get a lot of deploys, and it means also that you can capture a lot of portals. It also means that I can pick up a lot of mods as well for that other quest line. It's pretty ideal in that kind of a regard. And I didn't know it at the time, but the 2nd level of this one is also going to involve linking. So it means that you get a lot of keys from red portals as they die, which also helps with this whole quest line. I also appreciate that it's kind of ridiculous because the Reclaimer medal is ludicrous in terms of the number that you need to be able to get it black or onyx. But it is one of the ones that I haven't got, and I'm still going to push towards it every now and again if I've got the opportunity. So I had a bit of spare time today, and I thought I'll head to the local red area and see if I can make a little bit of a dent on that medal as well. I made a small dent on that medal because, yeah, it's going to take a long time before I even get it to platinum, but it is satisfying seeing all those red portals explode like that and being able to pick up all those keys and mods as well. It just helps and it makes the gameplay a lot quicker. It also means, because I'm a very lazy Ingress player, that I don't have to glyph hack very often unless the quest line tells me I need to, and that suits my playstyle a little bit better. Just as a small tip then, when you're killing red and you're redeploying like this, I like to deploy the entire thing and capture all the portals that are in range, all the grey portals that are in range before I even start picking up the keys, because if I capture it and then hack it, I might get one key and then I can pick up all the keys that are on the floor as well, which means that I don't pick up the keys, then hack it and not get as many keys because I've already got one on the tap hack as well. I know that the connector medal for a lot of people is a distant dream because of the ridiculous amount of links that you need just for that particular medal. I do have it, and it took a long time and a lot of effort, a huge amount of key farming, and not just my own key farming. There's a lot of help going on there as well. But eventually I got it, so you know, when it comes to coming to a red place like this, picking up keys and throwing those links, I certainly will, just for the AP, and you never know, if I'm aiming for the Reclaimer medal to get it Onyx maybe one day in the next 20 years, then maybe I might get wings on the connector medal as well. Now obviously this medal is going to favor some people over others, unfortunately, in how it's been implemented and the environments that you play in. So clearly it's going to favor people who can get to grey or even red areas, or maybe even areas of the opposing faction when it comes to gameplay. If it's like easy for you to do so, then it can be very easy for you to get this medal, assuming that the opposing faction aren't recharging all those portals on you and it's nigh impossible to kill them off. But then what do you do if your local area has already all been captured and it's all the same color as you, and all of the resonator slots are taken, all of the mod slots have been taken, everything's been nicely micro-fielded together? What do you do at that point? And then in this case, this medal is going to be a little bit more tricky for you, of course it is. So I think obviously the point that Niantic are making is that they probably want you to explore, and it is the premise of the game that they encourage you to explore, to get out there, to be active. In which case I think then that this is pretty much a good idea. I like the idea of going to different locations and exploring, and actually going to the intel map, planning where I might actually play and where I can get enough captures, where I can get enough resonator deploys, and that's really kind of conducive to good active playstyle, plus a bit of actual in real life travel and exploration, which I think is commendable. So something that I enjoyed doing today in the sunny town of Thirsk. You can also see then throughout my gameplay that occasionally I'm going back to that quest line and seeing just how much more I've got to do. I've yet to capture 10 more portals, and every now and then I'm looking through the map and making sure that the direction that I'm heading in is actually the most efficient way that I can capture those next 10 portals without missing any that are within reasonable distance to travel on foot as well. And it just means that I've got a nice route in my head and I know what I'm doing, so that I can actually be optimal in my gameplay whilst I'm actually being active and exploring today. Hopefully then some of you are also noticing that I'm trying to be optimal in the way that I'm doing my links today as well. So as you've just seen, it's a case of if you order your links in a specific way, you're going to get one more field, and I'm trying to take advantage of that. You can see now on the screen when I'm throwing those links that it is 626 for a link and 2,500 for every single field being thrown as well, which is because it's double AP at the moment. I know I'm not actually running an Apex because I just don't see the point at the moment, but it is a case of I'm trying to be as optimal as possible when it comes to how many fields I can get from these portals. I think I screwed up once later in the video because I don't realize in time and I just throw the links a little bit too hastily, but I do try, you know, when it comes to casual play and paying attention, making sure that if there's a split field to be had, that I get it, and hopefully you're appreciating that as well. And the church that you can see that I'm currently throwing links from at the moment is quite a nice looking church, and it's quite a nice day today. It got a bit more miserable later on, started raining, but it is one that later in the video that I will come back and I will take a photograph and just add it to the portal as well. Sometimes I like to do that, sometimes I think actually it's a nice day and I've got a nice shot in mind, and sometimes the pictures on the portals could be better. I think that one's a pretty decent picture, to be honest, but then I figured also if I just put it in the video, you can definitely tell that I'm actually there. I'm not doing anything ridiculous like spoofing, I just don't do that kind of thing. And the other thing that you can see then is obviously the plus alpha thing going on now, and completing it. The reason why I'm not doing all those bounties, so I'm definitely not doing all the 5 kinetic programs every single time, is because I don't really care about it that much. It's not really interesting to rerun that medal for me, and I just think, okay, get it through and done as quickly as I possibly can. So you'll see that pretty soon. It'll turn up on my scanner soon enough anyway. If you didn't catch it, the quest line for that just goes up. It's the same quests each time, apart from at the start it's use 40 mods and destroy 40 mods, then it goes up by 44 mods and destroy 44 mods, and the final level of it is obviously 48 mods and destroy 48 mods as well. It's pretty simple as long as you've got enough mods to actually deploy, number one, and enough portals to deploy them on, which is not difficult if you've come to an area like this. Plus it's also easier if you've got red portals because they're spewing out force amps and turrets too as well, and shields of course. So if you can see in the distance then we've got 6 portals, and if you've been keeping count or keeping track of how many I've got, then I've got 6 left to do as well, which is what I'm coming up on at the moment. So I did plan it a little bit as I was going along, thinking, okay, if I go up there, there's a reasonable 6 that I can reach and it'll end this section, and then I can actually find out what the next one was, the next section, the next level of this quest. And when it comes to quest lines like this, I don't research in advance of time. I actually like to experience it without actually knowing what each of those levels is. So I guess I would be quite disappointed if the next level was drone hack a whole bunch of times, but you know, it'd be something for me to get on with, and you know, I could then switch off and do something else for the rest of the day, as I set a timer for the drone and just keep hacking away when it comes to that one. But obviously that's not what happens in this one, and you'll see later on in the video that the next step isn't to drone hack, which fortunately means that I can just carry it on straight away. But just like I wouldn't want to spoil it to a film or a TV series, I don't really want to spoil what the quest line is or what the tasks are for events in Ingress as well. So I didn't find out on purpose, and I'm glad I didn't. I enjoyed my day today. It was nice finding out as I was going along and playing the game. And so if you've been paying attention, you'll know that there are only 4 portals left before we get through the first line of this quest. You need to get through 2 lines of the quest before you get the first medal, which we'll do by the end of this video. The other thing today that I'm interested in is then that Niantic survey. I'm wondering, what did people actually write when it comes to the things that they'd willingly pay for? I think obviously a big theme for Niantic in that questionnaire was how can they actually monetize the game and make it worthwhile. So there are some things that are very heavily monetized within the game that just don't seem to be as worthwhile than other things. So clearly key lockers are absolutely fantastic. They're just a great way of expanding your storage, and it's something that you get for permanent. But obviously that is not going to help Niantic after you've just made your one-time purchase, and they're looking for something a little bit more like a subscription. What kind of things would you be prepared to actually pay money for within the game? And are you keen on these new medals where you can actually get wings and paying for quest lines like that? Is that a good thing? Or did you have different suggestions for Niantic, something that maybe they haven't thought about, some kind of new element to the game that is still within the spirit of the game and the lore that they've got going on, but that actually is a little bit more friendly and something a little bit more worthwhile to pay for than what is currently in the game? I'd be curious to know. Personally, I actually wrote 2 enormous paragraphs for Niantic so that they could peruse them and see my suggestions about things that even I would be willing to pay for in the game, because currently I just don't think that what they're adding to the game adds value to the game. I'm not very keen on the idea of these pay for wings, and I'm also not keen on this new cargo system that they've got going on. It seems extraordinarily expensive for what you actually get out of it, but you know, I might be in the minority, or it might suit a lot of other people that can actually afford and want to pay for those services. Yeah, absolutely. But personally, I think there are other options that they could do and would make the game a little bit more exciting and a little bit more competitive. But you know, let me know if you've got any decent suggestions. I would love to hear them. Maybe indeed that would be an interesting thing to actually include in a future video for this channel as well. I don't know. Maybe if I can find enough data and enough people to contribute to it, I'll do something like that. Now, anyway, you can probably tell that I'm on the final portal and we're about to see that wonderful new medal as soon as I capture this one, and maybe even further links from it as well. The thing that I was really happy today with was that actually the medal did pop up, and I actually saw it appear on my screen in nice, great big bold Technicolor, which doesn't usually happen for me. Normally it's a real disappointment. I do all that work, all that effort, and don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed my gameplay and everything like that, but it just doesn't pop up like it should, and I have to go to my profile really sadly and click on it to make it big and bold so I can see it for the first time, which isn't quite as dramatic, and it's not quite the same flourish as I want when it comes to getting a medal like this. That might be something to do with the phone that I'm on. I'm using a Fruit phone at the moment, and it might be that Apple phones just don't allow for that kind of pop-up to happen, or maybe I just don't have the most recent model, and maybe I need that so that it can pop up. It's a big price to pay for a medal to pop up on a screen though. Right, the last step, as you can see then, when it comes to this particular medal and this section of the medal, is to do a lot of recharging, and fortunately I have quite a lot of keys at the moment with a lot of depleted portals on them, so I can race through this quite quickly. I'm not really much of a recharger personally. It's one of those things that has never interested me too much. I know a lot of people do masses and masses of recharge, and good for you if you are into that part of the game. I'd much rather be out and about and actually exploring new places and seeing new things and visiting portals, as well as looking at my phone screen. But you know, I do look up occasionally. It is like in the spirit of the game. I do actually see the world around me as much as look at my phone screen too. Not only when crossing the roads, like I've done a lot of times in this video, but you know, I do actually try and appreciate my surroundings as I'm playing the game too. So the amount of recharge needed at this stage in the quest line then is 75,000 XM, which isn't too much. It just means that because I'm level 16 and a level 16 XM bar is 22,000, if I deplete that fully 4 times, then I've got more than enough to actually achieve this. So hopefully that won't take too long and we can get very soon to that medal popping up. In the meantime, here's something very satisfying, which is filling in the gaps in between fields. But anyway, there we go. The first one is recharge 75,000, the second drone hack 15 times, third hack any 25 portals, then it's deploy 100 resonators, and finally it is capture 20 portals. All 5 stages done. You only need to do 4, but I chose to do all of them just to be a little bit more, I don't know, of a completionist, I guess. And finally, after 16 hours and 56 minutes, I have done the first stage of this one. And now you can see those 2 medals in the rewards. So in the next stage, we're going to get the reward, the first tier of the medal, and it's going to amplify in terms of the difficulty of the quests that you're going to have to do. It's not going to be as easy, it's going to be a bit more time consuming this time round. And in terms of what you have to do, it's doubled when it comes to the recharge. Now it's recharge 150,000 XM. You're going to need to glyph hack 50 points. Then you're going to need to hack any 50 portals. You're going to need to deploy 40 portal mods, and finally you're going to need to make 35 links in order to complete this section of the quest and get that first tier of the medal, which is obviously what we're going to hope to do by the end of this video. Obviously then at this point I'm thinking, oh my god, I've made so many links and fields already, and I could have just saved all of those had I known, but I also don't like spoiling the quest lines for myself, so in this case I'm reaping the rewards of my own philosophy or ethics in terms of the medals here and how I like to experience them. But anyway, I'm sure I can find 35 links to make in the next section of this video, of course. You can also use my experience to your own advantage. So if you're still on the first section of this quest, then clearly you can save all your links to make for the next stage, and it'll save you a little bit of time and a little bit of effort when it comes to keys and actually making those links. It'll just be a little bit simpler, of course. I'll leave off the narrative then for the next section of the video, and I'll come back when it comes to the end of the video when we can finally see that medal pop up. Alright then, with that, we can finally claim this medal. And so one by one, I'm going to go through all the rewards. They're all level 8 gear, which is pretty decent, and some of my favourite towards the end, which are the heat sinks. Obviously, I use plenty of those in this to actually get through the hacks a little bit quicker and to find a few more keys as well, which is not bad. But soon enough, we can click on claim assignment, and there it pops up. So what do you think about the design to this medal? I really like it. I think it's a little bit classier than what we've seen recently. I'm not a big fan of the gold, silver, bronze ones that we've had with the weird 3D graphics. I think that one's actually a really nice one, and I quite like the next stage of this one too. The other thing then we can do is have a look at the next stage of this quest. So it's going to get a little bit more. You need to recharge 200,000, you need to drone hack 25 times, hack 75 portals, deploy 225 resonators, and then finally capture 45 portals, quite a lot. And then we can also claim the other quest line, which is secondary to the video today, and we can get those wings, I guess, on the Plus Alpha medal. I'm not as excited about that one, it's not as interesting to me, but whatever, it's okay. I guess we can have a look at the profile and see how it looks and if it makes a great big difference. Do we really care that it's got a couple of wings and those little tail feathers at the bottom of that? Not really. Not in comparison to this wonderful medal. This one's much nicer. I prefer that one. It's a decent one. Anyway, with that being said, thank you very much for watching. If you want, leave a comment in the video and I'll respond to you. Maybe you're a little bit ahead of me in the quest, maybe you're a little bit behind. Hopefully you found a couple of nice and helpful tips when it comes to this video, and I'll see you in the next one.